So I wanted to take a few minutes to kind of go over how the room is organized, since we're all going to be working in here, except probably Terry. She'll be in with me, but you'll be working back and forth with Mrs. Murray and myself, and so I wanted everybody on the same page. So how this room is organized, again, is you're not unfamiliar with it because of the shelves in the other room, but there's going to be a little more independence with what the kids are going to be doing, and there's going to be more work involved in kinder. Every shelf has a color-coded title, and I will go through all of it. This is the Practical Life shelf. I've also taken the standards and objectives from the Archdiocese curriculum for kindergarten, and I went through and I put some of them around the room so we all know what we're up to and what we're doing. So the Practical Life is basically a preparation for learning how to work. Remember, in kindergarten, the problem is that you're going to have kids that have been in school for a couple years and kids are not. So you have sorting and lacing and threading, and we'll probably add some more things there. So it's all an indirect preparation for reading and mathematics and concentration. So there also will be a calendar here, and that's a lot of part of social studies, in that learning just time and the holidays and such like that. So I included that in there. I'm going to skip that one and come back to it. In addition, our SLEs are also a way to satisfy, because we have our SLEs, we practice them every day. That is a way to satisfy some of the social studies curriculum, and taking turns and being a good steward of the earth, etc. So also we go to the sensorial shelf, which is the senses, and this is also order, sequence, also a prerequisite for math and writing and reading also. So that are those shelves. So language is fulfilled in several different ways. The kids are going to be working on the shelf and at their seats. So we're going to have a language shelf 1 and a more challenging language shelf. And we can go over the objectives, but again, initial, whether they're not being able to hold a pencil, we have pre-writing work, and we have initial knowing your sounds. For the kids that know their sounds, we're beginning to read and spell. And then there's going to be, obviously, we're going to have reading groups, which we are going to have, and they're going to have seat work to practice handwriting and also an extension of these skills. So there's going to be a combination. I'm going to pull it all together in the end, but I just wanted to introduce you to that. In addition, when we come together at a circle time, which will be pretty much, they'll be separated and sitting in squares, we will have tape on the floor, but to separate them for social distancing, but the pink over there matches the pink here because reading to them and learning comprehension, characters and such, that all is worked into group orally as well. So math, there's actually 3 sections. There's a beginner, knowing your numbers from 0 to 10, and then we get into a harder section where it goes all the way up for teens, tens, and hundreds, and also we're going to be working with addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and fractions. And so this is gets very advanced very quickly. It doesn't look like we're doing much, but there's like 3 years of work in that little brief summary. It extends over here from when they're ready for much bigger problems. We do place value with them, and we do harder addition and subtraction there as well. I had this as an extension for the sensorial shelf. They are familiar with some of the shapes, but these are getting into concepts of geometry, of similar congruence and equivalence, which is necessary for math. I have science. Science, and there's some history here, but the fundamental needs of human beings, puzzles, and we'll work on animals, also time, measurement. We're going to be doing that as an extension. They love animals and geography and the sun and the earth seasons, and we'll be working on that as well. And there also is this is an extension. I have the colors of Practical Life because we have wet and dry Practical Life, and we're going to do washing of, that too, but washing of rocks, but there's also sand, which we don't want on the carpet. So this is an extended Practical Life shelf. We have a reading chair where we're going to have little books, and here is Again, this is blue because religion and the holidays and the celebrations of our faith, we will switch out here on this table, and so this is an extension of history. Believe it or not, the truth is that history is the backbone of all education. Here is a listening center for books. Now, to show how this is going to be done, this is going to be one sheet, but all of these pictures match everything that I just went over, and it's going to be a front and back copy for a week. The kids are going to be more responsible. They have to work on every area of the shelf. This does not, and this includes, I have seat work also. They will be given seat work every single day as well. So there'll be kids working on the shelf, there'll be kids working at their seats, and there'll be kids working with the teachers. So I wanted to give you an overview of how this room is organized. Thank you, Sadie's, because we've painted and spent several weeks getting this room ready to go.
Do you want to go over the colors of the shelf? Because you didn't really go over that.
The only reason that there is no meaning to the colors of the shelf except they just have to match. So it's a visual discrimination for the child to start understanding the work that they're doing on that particular shelf. That's pretty much, so it's a visual discrimination for the kids, so it doesn't look like all one thing that they're doing, because they really are separate subjects that they are doing. And the kinder will have homework as well. We will go into all of that in person in detail, but this is the general outline of the kindergarten classroom. As you can see, we're prepping for the social distancing and that kids will not be able to eat on the floor, so they'll have to have their masks on. So we have dividers that were built. Thank you for Barbara and Martin that did that, and whomever else. But we're still kind of getting that together. So that is the overview, and we will have our meeting to discuss this and go over any questions that you have and more detail about the 5-year-old child and what we're going to cover. Thank you very much.